Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Adventures in Arcane Space. Once again, our players are...
Hi, I'm Lance Corporal Higgimus. I play a Giff fighter.
Hi, I'm David Big Mac Shepherd. I play Braxon, who's a human fighter.
Hi, I'm G-Man. I play Yeldan Sharp by a Elven Ranger.
Hey, I'm James. I play Ockar, human paladin.
I'm Levalithana, an elf and wild mage.
Hi, I'm Lafdul. Zaked playing Lafdul. He's a moon elf. He's a multi-class thief and priest, specialty priest.
Okay, so last session you had quite the adventure against some Neogi and Umberhulks, escaping from the planet. And I am basically gonna just hand wave away the trip back because you guys are in pretty bad shape and you want to get back. So unless there's something specific that people want to do on the trip.
But we could get friendly encounters.
No.
Could.
Dude, we're
I
near
guess.
dead. Let's just take this.
If we're going to insist on protection money.
And we destroyed the Nyogi ship, correct?
Oh, yeah, actually, so you guys wanted to just, like, cause it to fall onto the planet, I think? I can't hear you. I think
Still
you
can't
moved your
hear you,
microphone.
Still can't hear you.
And probably destroyed the life jamming helms is probably what he's trying to say. Maybe. I don't know.
I think you
translated
moved your
on the
microphone,
planet after
G-Man.
We destroyed the helms.
So, alright, so did you guys want to just, like, set it to crash onto the planet?
After we destroyed the helms, of course, yes.
The crash would probably
there-
destroy it.
Okay,
How?
that sounds good.
Right. Builds that much gravity falling into the planet. It's weird.
I
Let's do that.
You also left me a list of tantalizing thing at the end of last session for my character as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, like I said, if there's things that people want to do...
I'd like to have a closer look at it. And
Over the travel
Well-
back, I suppose.
learn like its origins, because it seems strangely familiar to me.
There were a couple things. The stag amulet.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. The stag amulet with those initials on there.
Yep. Closer look, and you do recognize that. That is most definitely the amulet that your former master wore.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
I had this written down somewhere. Give me a second.
Oh, we killed all those Nyogi. Too bad you can't
Yeah.
question them.
Hmm.
There it is. I have it. I also have written down the weird Nyogi symbol.
It's a shame Laughter was level for, level 5 so you can do speak with dead. That'd be so useful right now.
Oh
No
well.
kidding.
I know I wrote that down. Where did I write that down?
It's only like 2,000 XP away from it, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the silver medallion has the head of a stag on one side, and on the other side are the initials of your master. In Elvish AS, it's Alador Silvercloud. So...
Can you put that in chat so I can...
Yep.
Thanks.
I hate that Discord doesn't take copies and pastes there. So yes, you do recognize the medallion. The other thing, it's an odd geometric pattern. Not really something that you can really wrap your head around by looking at it. It's not. It doesn't seem to represent anything that you're familiar with.
Okay, I'll keep a hold of it, and because I remember one of the people I talked about these things about mentioned a strange Nyogi cult.
Yep.
I figure they might know something about it.
Okay. Anything else that other people want to do on the trip back?
Braxon wants to assess the damage on all the ships, and he will offer to the dwarves, which will probably decline, if they want him to fit a weapon on their ship. We could demount one of the ones on the barge batar and mount it on there.
Okay, so the Wasp is at 16 out of 18 hull points. The Dragonfly is at half hull points, 5 out of 10, and the Barge right now is at 31 out of 60.
Right.
Wow. 1 hit point away from half.
I have a silver scroll tube that I have to prey upon. I never knew what was inside.
Is that the one that you got from the helmsman?
Oh. Hang on. Did I just misread it? Yeah. Well, I never wrote that bit down. I just put. I assume so.
Okay, let me double check.
Silver scroll tube magical, but we assumed that was the contents inside that were magical.
Yes.
Alright.
How long does praying over that usually take? Like an hour, or is it like several hours?
An
praying
hour will
spells?
do. Mainly because it kind of needs to be the equivalent of a read magic.
Alright.
Let me just find this. Hold on a second. Why do you not look for both of these words together? There we go. Okay. All right. So, looking in there, you find a scroll that has 3 spells on it. They're at the 11th level. Detect Powers, Zone of Sweet Air, and Create Minor Helm.
Ooh.
Is that a permanent
Yeah.
spell?
No,
Create Minor
temporary.
Helm?
It's temporary.
Okay.
Would the permanency make it permanent?
No.
No. Alright.
It just turns a chair temporarily into a minor helm that you can use. It's an emergency situation kind of thing. Now it does last for quite a while, like on an order of days. So it is specifically designed for an emergency situation of, oh crap, our helm got destroyed. Hey,
Let's get to the nearest port.
Yeah, we have something that we can do.
And if
Okay.
you don't have a backup helm.
Yep. No, right, I'm done, thank you.
All right. I think that's the only priest spell scroll that you guys picked up that you hadn't figured out by now.
Did we open
Yeah.
up the other 2 chests?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Did you see my note?
Yes. I'm just wondering if anyone else has anything quick before I go over those details.
Leva has the 3 large spell scrolls on rollers.
Right. Okay,
Which you might want
so
to look at.
you do that on the trip back, and discover that is the equivalent of a spellbook.
Yabadoo. Nice.
Let me go ahead and give those spells to you. So the first scroll has the spells Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic, Ghost Light, Hail of Stone, Hold Portal, Hypnotism, Melt, Prestidigitation, Read Magic, Spider Climb, and Still Water. The second scroll has ESP, Enchanted Blade, Ice Knife, Misdirection, Omen, Phantasmal Force, Protection from Charm, and Vocalize. And the third scroll has Fire Rain, Haste, Hold Person, Magnetism, and Statue.
How does it work with pages on scrolls like that?
It doesn't work for you. This is a different style of recording spells than your one that you're familiar with.
Okay.
It's not something that you could personally use as a spell book because it's not the way that you are familiar with handling spells. So,
Do I know
Which,
who actually uses scrolls like this?
looking over the material on it, a lot of the characters and everything like that remind you of stuff you saw in Showtown.
Okay.
But she can copy them over to a regular book,
Yes.
like normal. Okay.
She just can't use it
Yay.
as like another spell book to when she runs out of pages.
No, she can't use these as a spell book.
And
That's
then
why I
Leva,
asked, and he just said no. If I don't comprehend the style that it's done in, then I won't be able to use it. Correct?
and then there's these other scrolls that we had, these other scroll tubes. If she's able to have read magic, can she tell what those are too?
Yep. Yeah, because actually, quick note: unlike most spell books, you did actually need to use read magic to figure out what these scrolls were. These large spellbook scrolls were.
Okay.
But once you figured it out, then you're done. All right. Let's see. So the other scrolls.
I'll let you write this stuff down for yourself, Leva, since you'll be the one that uses them.
Could you help, because I'm about to have a really bad sneezing attack. I've had the flu this week.
she can copy and paste it from Old, I see.
Yeah, I can put
Yes,
it in.
that would be nice. That would be perfect.
Okay. You had an Electrum scroll tube. Inside there is a spell, wizard spell, Thunderstaff, at the 8th level. I can't actually remember
We
if
have
you guys...
those.
You had that one already?
We
Okay.
I have Wizard Spell Scroll of Thunderstaff 8th level in an Electrum Skull Tube, and Whispering Wind, and Animate Water, Ice Knife, Dancing Blade, all 10th level.
Okay. All right. You had a copper scroll tube that you got from the Neogi, and inside that is a scroll of protection from illusions.
What level?
It's not a spell; it's a protection scroll.
Ah, okay. Can Higgimus use that?
Anyone can use it.
What?
So I
what
pass it on and say, maybe you fighters want this.
I want to ask, how does that particular spell work?
You don't really know. I mean, it does
Just-
something to protect you from illusions.
Sounds great.
I think
Oh,
Higgimus should have that because he's fallen for one already several times. He didn't
Twice
even
at least.
Well, one killed him, and he actually burnt himself on my firewall. Yes.
I got knocked out by one too.
You got knocked out by one. You got
Two of
and
them.
then there was
Elemental.
the,
Twice.
I think you
That was the
you should have the protection from illusions.
All right, we'll put it on the list here. And I have another one written down here, all that says copper scroll tube, magical two scrolls inside. I think it's a different one than the Yogi one.
Isn't that the one with Whispering Wind?
Oh, that might be.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Which one was that? That was copper or something.
And there's another copper scroll tube with a protection scroll, aberration magic, protection from undead.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there should be another one that you got from the Dragon's Lair,
That might be the one I was thinking of. That copper scroll tube, yeah.
and that one has a scroll of protection from poison. Now, that one you basically had to destroy the scroll tube to get out, because it had oxidized shut, and you basically had to just tear the thing apart to get the scroll out.
Right.
Shouldn't take skulls underwater then.
Well, the scroll was fine, but the tube itself...
Yeah. Shouldn't take metal scroll tubes underwater. I suggest that the protection scrolls that can be used by anyone should be used by the fighters.
So Leva, you have the Electrum scroll tube, and then the 3 large scrolls on rollers, and then the one with all the aberration stuff, right?
At
Or
the moment, yes.
the one with the You have those,
I
so I
have
can take them
one-
off our list.
1,
Or-
2, 3 spell books. 2 spell books. I actually need to take this apart to see whether these books are just. You remember, Old, you said last week that you had too many spells in the book, so you split it up.
Yeah, I thought I gave that to you.
But I just copied it at the end, so I don't know which ones. Whether I actually have 4 or 6 books at the moment. Probably 4. 2 and 2. Plus the big
It's
scrolls.
4.
Okay, I'll just hold on to that for just a moment until I can make sure. All right. I think that's it for that stuff
Okay.
until we get until we read over the log.
Okay. So on the trip back, you take a look at the ship's log that you got from the barge of Ta, and you learn that the ship itself was called the Iron Grip.
The Iron Grip.
Great. Interesting though.
Now, the log itself actually documents a point earlier than when the captain was the captain of that. It looks like he was originally a pirate captain on the world of Oerth, and he details how he encountered a large, wide ship and attacked it, but was beaten to a standstill, and they called a truce, and he discovered that they were the slavers that you basically destroyed. He made a deal with them, joined them with his crew, leaving their ship behind, flying out into space, and kind of chronicles some recent attacks. There's a few ship names in there that he attacked. Other ships that he doesn't name were in there. None of them that you really recognize. You ask around with the rest of the party members, and no one else recognizes them. But it does appear that they mostly took place here in Brawl Space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would there be obviously this was not asked at the Thieves Guild, would they have any idea of knowing like ships that are more the black market, so to speak?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, ships that don't want to be known around regular circles via the shipwright place or whatever, slaves trading or whatever.
Well,
even though my guild doesn't directly deal with it, they might have an idea.
Yeah, I mean, all of the Thieves Guilds deal a little bit with smuggling, but most of the time the smugglers operate as a normal shipping vessel, but they'll have either hidden compartments or they'll lie about their cargo and then bring them into Brawl as seemingly normal goods or under the cover of darkness, but they dock legally. So
that's something we never did. I just realized we never used to detect magic on the ship and search the ship.
Yes, we did.
I think you did.
We did?
I think so.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
where
we
we
did.
still.
People say we have.
They did on the camp.
No, I'm pretty sure they did on the ship too.
Yeah, we did on the ship when it was still docked on land.
Oh, there was. If I can get one first level detect magic, then I would want to use that on the. That was the only spell I was going to reserve, other than the rest for healing on the way back. Was for identifying the captain's gear, because I was the one that didn't get detect magic on it. The one with the rapier and the red shirt.
The rapier radiates combat. Actually, I should roll for these.
Yeah, boots. I think he had a magic good leather armor. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, let me look. Let's see. Okay.
I would also see if Yeldan's amulet's magical as well, like a holy symbol or not.
The one, yeah, the odd geometric thing does radiate slight amount of magic, and you recognize that as the amount of magic that a holy symbol radiates. It's more, it's not so much that it's enchanted itself, it's that because it's used as a channel of focus for magic, some of it just kind of rubs off.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was referring to not that the stag one.
That's not magical. Okay, you cannot tell anything about the leather armor. The boots, those radiate travelers and air.
Travelers.
Yeah,
7.
because he did a big jump, so we assume there's some kind of boots of jumping or something.
Does it? Could it? Is there such a thing as 7-mile boots?
Maybe?
I don't think 7-mile boots.
Let me guess. We don't know.
Jump. Like,
I mean, let me put it this way. If there's a legend in real life about magical gear or something like that, chances are there's a magic item in the Dungeons & Dragons game that's similar to that. All right, so the log doesn't seem to have. I mean, you get some the information, but it doesn't have any information about outside contacts and stuff like that. It seems like the captain was mostly interested in exploring new places and attacking new ships, kind of thing,
Okay.
and getting paid for it.
All right.
nothing about this deal. Oh well.
Any other questions? Yeah, he doesn't. The log makes it pretty clear that he didn't really have a particular interest in the slave trade. He didn't really get involved in that kind of thing, like the details. He just looked for likely targets, and he was pretty good at identifying, weak targets and stuff like that, and going after them.
One more question. Do we have time to try? So you guys are probably gonna want to do this. We got time. Interrogate the prisoners about the whole dwarf thing. To try to get that extra information that we're looking for.
Did out of that last group of guys, was one of the prisoners one of those people? Or
You
did
got
we kill them all?
you got the leader of the slaver ring entirely.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead
Yeah,
and talk
the
to
one
him.
I held. Yeah, but I've got no. Well, there's. You want to do multiple interrogations on him? One without magic, one with magic, because I don't have any magic at the moment that would aid.
Well, it's
in
going
that.
to take you 2 days to get back.
Yeah. So we
Yeah, I
have
need to
another-
do a lot of healing, so I don't know how much spells I can reserve.
Is Beloriana back up yet?
No.
No, she's going to be out for like a week.
I have ESP, so that
works.
might help in questioning him.
Well, yeah, you all know how to reserve spells, so that's fine. As long as we got something that might help give us an idea if it's lying or not.
Let me see whether I've got anything else. Clairvoyance? Would that help?
No.
So, we also have notes here. We got papers from the fort. Papers that don't make sense. They still don't make sense.
Did I actually decode them?
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Okay.
They're basically all receipts for slaver transactions.
Yeah, the important ones got burned on us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ones that you now would probably assume are pretty important.
So they're all just receipts.
Basically,
Oh, okay.
Receipts for selling slaves.
they may be useful to the authorities or other groups, but they don't really mean much to you.
Okay. Excellent.
Braxon, you want to know if the log says the names of any ships that the pirates or slavers attacked? Yeah, it does. I said that.
Oh, sorry.
But they're not ships that you guys, as player characters, are familiar with. Obviously,
No,
if you talk to the ex-slaves, the people you rescued, they will confirm that some of those ships are ones that they were on and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Cool.
Is this one of those things where they're going to try to take, like, when we tell the authorities about all this stuff, they're going to try to take this barge away from us?
Well, you won't know until you get there.
Okay.
I was mainly thinking we could go talk to the underwriting companies or the authorities and say, do you have any interest in this ship? And say we've caught the guys that attacked it.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to you guys when you get back to Brawl. You can try and do
Higgimus is going to be... Okay, if Higgimus catches word that you wanted to do that, Braxton, what I would tell you is let's not just offer the ship to them, because they might want to take it, and with that, the helm.
Braxton looks puzzled and says, what do you mean offer the ship? I'm talking about saying that we've killed the pirates that attacked their ship.
Okay. The way you were saying that, it sounded like you're like asking if they're interested in taking the ship away from us or something.
No, they attacked us. It's our ship.
All right. So
If anything, we're taking the helm off this thing before we do anything.
Yeah, well, I think the plan was to sell it and then take the helm.
So Leva, you're gonna cast ESP and help out with an interrogation. Is that the plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see. ESP. It's level 2, so
None
I
of
can...
the prisoners radiated magic when we used detect magic when we were searching various locations, did they?
Anything that they had, you took off them that was radiating magic.
No, I mean like detect as if they were charmed or something.
For spellcaster.
I don't know if that would show up, or will you specifically need? Specifically need detect charm, don't you?
Not specifically. Detect charm detects some other things besides just charm magic, but I don't know. I've never actually thought about it. Most of them, no. But no one detected magic like their persons.
Yeah, I think we killed all the spellcasters.
Well,
No,
right,
it's
but it's a question of whether they were charmed in the first place. Is what he's getting at.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Denver hoax and stuff. So
Okay, so let's see.
Did you guys say you had charm person?
one of the
Leva's got.
spells. It's one of the
access to them.
spells in one of the books.
Okay, so you haven't copied that yet. Okay.
No. But could I?
You could, yeah. I mean, if you haven't hit the limits to your capacity for spells per level.
Let me see. What level is that? I need
First.
to
You got friends.
first.
No,
'Cause
it's
that might be more useful, no?
it's for your intelligence. It's based on your intelligence. So you go and
No, I haven't.
okay.
I could learn it. Okay. I forgot. What do I need to roll?
Well,
to see
do you wanna do that now?
Costs
How long does
money
that
too,
take you?
doesn't it?
Doesn't take very long to learn the spell.
Yeah, I can. I still have enough pages left in case it takes an awful lot of pages.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 1d100. Chance to learn.
Oh, God. People, keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, you got it. easily.
Phew.
And first level spell, so just 1d6 pages.
I have a feeling whenever Leva tries to do the tries to use Reckless Umber, we all just hide behind boxes.
I've
That
used
won't
it many
save
times
you.
already, so don't worry.
Okay, so 3 pages.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you guys want to go and try and interrogate the head of the slaver group? He does not seem to be very cooperative.
Yes, but we're using ESP on him, are we not?
Yeah, but you still have to think of questions that'll make him think about it.
Yeah, so
So-
what do you want to ask?
Tell us about each of the prisoners that you have there. Is there any prisoner there that's more valuable than others? What else? Who are you
Ask
selling
more
the prisoner
question-
to? And that sort of thing.
Asking specific questions about Eketh and his father.
You don't want to give that away.
No,
Why?
to him it doesn't matter. He's a prisoner.
Not yet. Just see if he'll. We'll go. That'll be like the ending, like series of questions, because that way we've got a gauge for whether or not he's being honest.
Unless you're planning to kill that prisoner, you don't want to tell him anything that he might tell other people that might compromise our employer.
I agree.
All right, so
Yes, we don't mention Eketh or anything.
all right, so you start with asking about if there were any particularly valuable prisoners, if anyone hired them to do anything. Was that what the second one was?
Sorry. Who's the most valuable prisoners? Who are you going to sell the most valuable one to? That sort of thing.
You weren't gonna ask if he was hired to do anything?
No, I could ask a more vague, open-ended question. We on any current jobs?
Well, the reason
That really is
Yeah,
vague.
that is
Uh,
very vague. Like, was he hired to do anything?
What's your most recent job?
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. Let me see what his.
the reason why I was asking these questions like that is so that the ESP would pick it up when he tries not to think about those things.
Yeah. So when you ask that first question, who the most valuable prisoner is, he just glares at you. But Leva, you do pick up from his thoughts Eketh, the name Eketh.
Ah.
And then with a follow-up, who are you going to sell him to?
Just a moment. Have we agreed on how I'm going to pass this information on? Do we let him know that we have someone
You're
who...
just writing notes.
Yeah, you can just write it down and
Ye-
hand it to us.
Yeah. You probably
Okay.
have like a slate and some chalk, and you can just write it down and show it to Higgimus.
I have this mental
can now
picture of
read
this
now.
entertainer at the top of the podium going, this is Eketh. Okay.
Higgimus knows how to read now.
Braxon, you should sit beside me so I can whisper to you.
Braxon knows how to read as well.
Does he?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you taught us both how to read.
Good.
Brax's like, did you left me out?
All right. So the next question, he still just glares at you, but Leva, you pick up from his thoughts, selling slaves to Nyogi.
Okay, I pass that on.
When we mention, if we were, I asked Higgimus, Leva, and Braxon, if we were to mention names to him, we might get some more. I'm specifically thinking of the names that I figured out, like Derdrick and stuff. I mean, he might have like he might know what their roles were.
The
Yeah,
rolls
but he
don't
may
really
just
matter.
think of their faces, won't he? I mean, if you
Yeah.
say, for example, Tom, and I know a Tom, I immediately think of his face, but I don't think of his role in anywhere.
Right,
Well,
but
there's-
there is
if
one Neogi name, like
Bra-
Skiffrel? Skiffrel?
Braxon whispers back to Lafdul, let's see what we can get this way and have a meeting. We can come back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Got plenty of time.
Have you ever sent out any letters bribing people that are related to the slaves you have?
he still just glares at you, and you don't pick up anything of interest from his thoughts, Leva.
Okay.
Who have you recently bribed?
You don't pick up anything,
Nothing. Yes.
and he's still just glaring at you.
Does that mean he hasn't bribed anyone, or does that just mean he can?
Sometimes
He
you
made
fail.
his saving throw.
The spell
If
can be
they're
resisted.
That's not how you think in real life.
No,
Well,
but
you-
if he's cotton on to the fact that you're a wizard and you can do magical insight,
Oh no, he makes it. It's out. I'm hearing Ald roll the dice every time.
no, yeah,
Stop
no,
metagaming it.
we all know that.
You do know that the spell can be resisted.
Yeah, if they cotton onto it, they can start secreting their thoughts, so to speak, not thinking about it.
Can they? Could I make myself invisible and we continue with the interrogation? I mean, invisible outside, so,
So,
he thinks I've gone.
It's
You know,
it's,
you've got a potion of invisibility. If you
people
want to do this
can
quickly.
can passively resist it.
Okay.
I mean, if you
Nice.
you can just either not think of something. He could just not be thinking of something. I mean, you could be asking questions that he doesn't actually have anything. Nothing pops into his head for.
Let's ask a slightly different question. What about the sword that Yeldan's currently using?
What is point at the sword Yeldan's holding on to? What's the sword do?
His eyes flicker to the blade, and Leva, you pick up some anger, and you also pick up the name, the Blade of Borodan.
The blade off?
Blade of Borodan.
Okay. I passed that on.
Something to research.
Yep, you can research a thing, magic item based on it.
Did he have... What other items did he have?
Were you hired by anybody to capture certain slaves?
You don't get anything.
Who's recently hired you?
You don't get anything.
God damn.
Yeldan, didn't you? Did you pass this on? That was it you with the slaver and stuff? Wouldn't you have questions to him?
No, because it was the Neogi, not the slaver.
Well, maybe the slaver knows something about it too.
Not likely. I can't, and this is me as a player. I can't actually think of anything to ask him. 'Cause
Okay.
He doesn't seem to be related necessarily.
Did the Neogi have anything to do with you going after that dwarf? That dwarf people?
You don't get
Barrel
anything.
dart? Or we mentioning that?
I won't say name. As
He
you
Alright.
said,
didn't say a
a
name,
ship.
and we kind of know that he ambushed his ship anyways.
You didn't get anything.
anything? Okay.
Braxon leans over to Higgimus and says, maybe we should ask if he knows where the slaves he's been selling are going to.
Do you know where the
Good
slaves that you sold are going to?
You get an impression of Neogi, Illithids, and some humans, but they're not really individual names,
Places.
just like pictures floating in his head. But you do notice that he seemed to quickly try to blank his mind as soon as that happened.
Who's the the most important person you sold slaves to.
You get nothing.
Yeah, he's cottoned onto it now.
Can we convince him with a charm person?
Yeah, possibly.
We're trying this first, though.
I imagine you have to wait till the next day before you use it. This is like the first day of questioning while we're traveling.
Who have you gotten the most money from selling slaves to?
Get an impression of Illithids and then nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Does your logs show the place where the slaves were taken away to?
You get nothing.
Do you have... Oh, no. Do you have any contacts in Brawl? He might think of a name.
Okay, Leva, you do get an impression. Let me see what that's going to be. You get the you see in your mind for a second what appears to be a perhaps a signature or something on a sheet of paper, and it says Master of Irons, and then beneath it the initials WA, and then it's gone.
I tried to recreate that on the paper.
Should I?
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be able to unless you can forge. I mean, it's.
Well,
you
you can
see.
write down the Master of Iron and the initials, right?
Yeah, you can get that,
you-
but you can't like try and recreate the signature itself as if you were gonna like look at someone else's signature and
Okay.
What's the initials?
WA.
Master of
Okay,
Iron.
cool.
Braxon, do you know who that could be?
Yeah, I was thinking.
What does the Master of Irons do?
Oh, that's giving it away, isn't it?
Oh, he's already doing resisting. So.
Master.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
Master of Irons.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Braxton lives on Brawl, so he might know who that is. Right? You have history of
Bra-
local? Right there?
Braxton's going to pace up and down.
Ockar does.
And when he
What?
paces up and down, he's going to spin around, point at him, and say, "Have you kept any souvenirs from the slaves you sold on?"
Hmm.
You get nothing.
Nothing?
You get
No
nothing.
rings?
No,
other
no.
items?
I mean, Leva gets nothing.
Yeah.
No impressions.
That's weird.
Not necessarily.
On the other hand, if he's just a merchant, used to get slaves and sell them again, there's nothing much that he'd want there.
Other
Here's
than
a question
like-
to... Well, this is more of an insight of Lafdul's wisdom. He's kind of doing like a wisdom check to speak. Would he know, would it be compromising to himself if he were to mention various thief guild organizations?
The existence of thieves guilds on Brawl is not a secret, and the
So I
The
could
names
mention a
of
few
some of
thieves
them.
guilds and it would be fine.
yeah, it would not necessarily give you away. It just might mean that you have a better ear to the ground than other people.
Alright, he lists off a few thieves guilds. Basically, do you know of them as the conversation evolves around contacts in Brawl? I use that as like a name drop, see if any of them ring a bell.
Leva, you get the image from this guy of he's highly amused at this question. Like this just flashes into his mind. He's like, this guy's crazy. This is hilarious. They are so off base, and then it's gone.
Alright,
Oh,
well,
But that's a really good hint. I tell the others that he's actually laughing at us. He's amused by our questions. So we're going away from
That is specifically in response to Lafdul's questions.
which
Yes.
means it's not the underground that he's dealing with.
It's probably the rich guys. What about the rich guys? Do we know any rich guys?
Well, that's why I was asking if it's rich guys. The Master of Irons might be somebody rich.
what about the
Influential, the ones who actually run the place.
aristocracy? I can never
Well,
pronounce
yeah,
that bloody
like I
word.
said,
Aristocracy.
does anybody have History Brawler or something that might be relevant to identify?
Ockar has, doesn't he? He's got ancient history or local history.
Let me check my non-weapon proficiencies. But I think I may have local history. I have, yeah, I have local history.
Okay. Do you want to try and use that to see if you are familiar with Master of Irons?
Sure. I have a 17.
What's
So,
that based off?
charisma.
Oh, really?
That's interesting.
I thought that'd be wisdom or something.
It means that basically local history is gossip. Kind of.
Yeah, local history is like gossip around town.
Yeah, so that is definitely charisma based. People tell you things.
Paladin's got lots of
Okay.
that.
That is a good bit below. Okay, yeah, I
It might
got
be
it.
a penalty because it's quite an obscure bit of information to know about.
It is. All you think that's familiar, and as you think about it while other people are asking questions, you think you recall someone being executed on Brawl about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was said that they were a slaver. They went by the moniker Master of Irons, but that's all you can remember. You can't even remember the person's name.
Yeah, there was a
Cover up.
guy 7 or 8 years ago that was executed. I think, he's a slaver, and I think he was going by that title. That's all I really remember.
Are you mentioning this to the party? Because
I'm saying that out loud to the others.
All right. Does the prisoner think of the name?
With the prisoner there?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
front of, okay. Leva, you pick up some surprise from this guy, and there's a bit of trying to decide how to put this. You get that was before his time.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You don't get a
legend or
name,
something.
but you also get some anger.
I pass that on to the others. He seems to. Is it sort of a
Compromising.
dislike that we actually fell over this bit of gossip? Or thought of this bit of gossip?
No,
Right.
it's
Braxon whispers, there's an official person called the Master of the Docks, so perhaps the Master of Irons is some sort of secretive underground slave trader.
well, that makes sense. The title works, but the question.
Maybe a
it's
title that got passed on to somebody else or something.
Did the Master of Irons tell you to pick up this group of dwarves?
You get nothing.
Nothing.
He's actually humming internally now. That's what you pick up.
What's
He
that
realized
song you're
that we
humming?
can read his mind.
What's the song?
Do I recognize the song?
It seems like just kind of a nonsense tune.
What's the song that you're humming? That's why I ask him.
That's all you're getting right now.
Braxon,
Laugh.
Braxon walks over next to him and goes, "Hey!" loudly in his ear.
Yeah, that's just gonna. What do you just think of some siege? No.
He at that he just closes his eyes and basically tries to ignore you. And Leva, you pick up that the humming is getting louder in his head.
Yeah, he's caught on, and he's decided that he's using his own defense against it. He's probably been trained against it.
All right.
Let's go for the charm night tomorrow.
I hope you didn't. say
I'm not
out
saying
loud.
that loudly, however.
Okay.
Oh,
No, I'm not.
you might get some very nefarious thoughts from Lafdul if you have to glance this way.
I don't think it works that way.
Why should I have to glance Lafdul's way? I'm just no.
Lafdul's just giggling to himself as you mentioned that.
Fine.
Everyone has to glance Lafdul's way at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Okay.
so,
So around that time, the spell does end anyway. All right. What do you guys want to do other than that?
Braxon says to him, "Do you want any food?"
He's still got his eyes closed and humming.
"Would you like some food?"
Actually, Leva can't pick up any humming anymore, but he's just got his eyes closed, and he seems to be ignoring you.
He's meditating.
well, let's just leave him alone.
It's a bit of a pity that the spell stopped, because we have other prisoners. We might actually try and talk to them now that it's calm and quiet, and we're not in danger of being attacked.
Well, it looks like you can interrogate one person a day or something.
Well, no, I mean,
Well,
you can move on to other people, but you were focusing on him for the entire duration of the spell. I mean, it doesn't last that long.
Yeah, but
What
you're
I'm gonna
also in
say
a
is, nope, none of the other people that we captured are gonna know anything.
Oh,
No, but it'll help correlate a story. They might know bits and pieces.
They might do.
But the question was, well, what kind of spells did you memorize? If you said you've only memorized that one spell, then you've only memorized that one spell, so...
No, I memorized. I'm just looking how many I could have memorized. It's ESP is second level, and I have one. One.
One gets
I
reserved.
can have two. I can have two second level spells. So I could have two ESPs.
Well, remember that this would technically be like the second day of your trip, because your first day you would have had no spells left.
Oh yes, correct.
Because you were on the everyone was on the helm and everything.
So, charm person, do you want to try asking questions? Try charm pursing him and ask him questions there.
Wouldn't... Carry on.
Alright, so I cast charm person on him.
Okay, you cast it. Actually,
Did it
I
work?
need to check for a wild search.
Wouldn't that be something? Fireball instead of charming.
Yeah, it's targeted on someone.
Okay. You have so with charm person, you don't know whether it works or not, except in basing it on their actions, their reactions.
I say to Lever, pass him some food. Do you want some food or something? Ask him that.
Yeah, I sit down beside him and ask him, hey, do you want some food?
Is this like almost immediately after your interrogation, or is this like later, much later?
It'd
So
be
now we're later.
It's later. It's later. It's definitely a bit later. I mean, the last question that Braxon asked him was whether he wanted some food. So let's let him stew a bit and come back an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later, and I bring him some food. I cast a spell and I bring food.
Okay.
Should be food that smells nice.
You got cooking proficiency, so
I'll take
Yeah,
a
but-
shower first, so I smell nice.
So
Yeah, we've been on the plane for like over a week.
upon the
we've been going in the river and
at your entrance, he basically just shuts his eyes, and he was like audibly humming this time.
Hmm.
You terrified the poor guy.
oh, Lafdul wants to turn into a Yogi.
No, you haven't terrified him. He's closing his eyes to minimize external stimuli.
Okay.
Right, let's have some nice smelling food. What we got, soup or something? And Braxon will hold the food near his face and waft the
Oh
smell
my
towards
God.
his nose.
Okay.
That's
But the
just
thing
being
is,
a dick.
we'll find if we ask questions. If charmed person works, he should answer, right?
Yeah, but we need to gauge whether or not it does work in the first place. The spell succeeded.
All right, so you've
So we need to
cast
do
the
something
spell.
mundane.
What do you want to do now?
I just read through the spell. So I sit down beside him and I pass on food and I say, hey, look, some food. Why don't you eat?
He is completely ignoring you and humming.
I think it didn't work.
Well, no, you might not. You just might have mental fortitude.
I waved food in front of his face, so the smell the smell of the food sort of enters his nose.
He kind of jerks his head back, and he's still got his eyes shut and humming.
Let me see.
Bra-
He has his
Braxon,
eyes
sorry.
closed. I clap my hands loud beside his ears.
He gives a little start, but he's still keeping his eyes closed, and the humming gets interrupted slightly, but he goes back to just this droning hum kind of thing.
Hey, Ockar, could you feed your direwolf in front of him?
He's
All right, so that's not going to work.
Wait, what? Feed my direwolf in front of him?
Yeah, just so it might intimidate him somewhat.
He doesn't see if he has his eyes closed.
He's got his eyes closed.
I take
Someone
his
wanna-
hand and put it on the plate with the food. So, but I forgot to. Is he actually bound, or are his hands tied, or are there?
I assume not, since you're talking about giving him food and not
Well, we
specifically feeding him.
We could spoon feed him.
But you weren't
Oh
saying
my
that you were getting ready to do that.
There's enough people in there to
Oh my
restrain him
God.
or overpower him, so
Okay,
basically we'd untie his hands slightly.
I take
Yeah,
his
try
hand
to
and put it on
punch
the
us.
plate with the food.
So, he violently flips the plate and just tries to push you back. Not so much so that he would injure you, but just, because he doesn't want you to suddenly, all of you to suddenly stab him in the face kind of thing. But, yeah. So that's what
I'm
he
going
does.
to try to restrain him.
How can he push me back if he doesn't see me since he has his eyes closed?
You said that you were putting his hand on the plate.
Yes,
Oh.
but that doesn't mean that I'm sitting in front of him.
It's
I-
gonna go
I-
with
It's
I-
the-
not
I
too.
could
It's
literally
not
be
too
behind
difficult
people
to
on his
figure out
side.
where someone is based on how their hand is on
Yeah.
their arm, kind of thing.
Braxton's gonna
And with that, I'm gonna say I don't think it worked. We can try
Braxton's
again
gonna use.
tomorrow.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Braxton's gonna use his signal whistle to try and play a tune. To
Did you do
distract
that
him,
with a signal whistle?
to distract
Not
him from distracting.
really. It's a signal whistle. All you can do is one sound
No.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't be
You
a
can
good tune.
distract. Sorry.
It can only do one sound. You can't make a tune with it.
I would think that you could go with it at least.
Well,
No,
actually,
It's not that kind of whistle. That's
it's not a slide whistle.
right.
are his eyes still closed?
Here's a question for the
Braxon got
party.
me an idea. I actually take the whistle and I blow into it. So there. Distraction.
I don't think.
I don't want to don't want to entertain him. I want to get him to acknowledge that I'm there.
That's Ockar's wolf in the background.
Yeah, Ockar's wolf is really quite happy there.
No, that's my dog scratching himself. He's really
Quite
Yeah,
literally.
exactly.
All right, so you blow the whistle like really loudly.
This guy's such a horrible thing to do to
All right,
someone.
he takes a swing at you. He misses because he still has his eyes closed, but he a punch just comes flinging right by your face, and
It's
he tries
distracting.
to throw his body at you.
All right. I'll stop.
I think
all
it
this
didn't
stuff.
work. I think it didn't work.
I think it's obvious it didn't work.
It was obvious from the time he kept ignoring you.
All right. So let's tie him back up, and I'll say, we'll just let the authorities deal with this.
You just contradicted what Lafdul had as an idea.
Nope, that's
Yes,
what
we'll
happens.
let the authorities deal with this.
Lafdul, he's going to mention this outside the room now. He's thinking that he could transform himself to look like one of the dock masters, or
No, you can't.
no.
You can't become someone
Or I
specific.
could well, not exact appearance, like someone with I'd use my disguise proficiency to aid in that to look like someone like that.
Oh, actually,
Because we've been on the ship for a while, we could be docked at Brawl for all he knows.
No, you can feel when the ship is moving.
You
Lafdul,
can
you just
emulate a situation.
There's a lot that goes into docking. Sounds, noises, movements. It's really difficult to fake that in empty space.
Yeah, but Lever's got illusionary magic, so you could add to the atmosphere. I'm thinking really out of the box here, like pushing everything.
All right. Well, I mean, no. If you guys wanted to try using some illusion magic, but
I'd be prepared to do that, but I'd like to do that on Brawl. I want to find out who the Master of Iron is, and I'd like to, with the illusion magic, make it seem as though we're talking to him, or he's coming in to talk to the prisoner, or just something that shocks the prisoner.
The problem is that he doesn't know. One, we're counting on that he actually knows who the Master of Iron actually is. Two, that he's met him. Three, that you can reasonably fake his voice.
Did you hear what I said? I said we go and find him and check him, and so I can actually copy him as an illusion. Well, if I didn't say that, that's what I meant. And for
How
that
can you find him when we don't know who he is? All we have is a title and a pair of initials.
don't you dare say we can't do this, because we can. Pen titles are there to be to figure out who is behind the title. We can go and we can find out who the
Maybe
person
we
is
can-
behind the
I
title.
think what he's kind of getting at is that's in from a metagaming point of view, that's an adventure in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's an adventure
Uh,
in and of itself. We might want to
If
just
you-
finish up this one first.
And if what Ockar said is correct, the last Master of Irons was executed. So it's not somebody who goes up saying, "Yes, I'm the Master of Iron." No, he's somebody who hides himself as well.
Doesn't necessarily mean that, because it just if you are involved in drug trade, then you try to stay out of the public view.
Right.
If you
But if the Master of Irons was a known position, and this guy was just using his position to do nefarious things, but it's a known position, an open position like the Master of the Docks, Ockar would immediately know who the current Master of Irons is.
Mm-hmm.
Would he?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's got
local
local.
history.
He's got local history.
Oh, okay.
But
He may not necessarily know who he is, but he would know of him. Like Ockar knows at least of the Master of the Docks, and various other public officials on Brawl, because he's got local history.
Okay.
So, Braxon wants to put his hand on Higgimus's shoulder and say, "Are you sure it's wise to hand him over to Brow?" And he's trying to say this quietly but loud enough for the guy to hear. We could get more contact if we sold him to our friends on the ship owned by the Pragmatic Order of Thought.
I'll think about that, and I'll leave the door, walk up to her.
Okay. Anything else that you guys want to do?
Outside the room, I'll mention that maybe we can give him to the dwarf guy. He has a lot of money. He could probably figure out a way to get the information out of him.
I've got a feeling that if this guy can figure the Master of Iron, that when we take him back to Brow, he'll get killed.
Mm-hmm. That's what I
Probably.
mean.
Yeah, even if it's like one execution for another.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they'll either try and bring him out of jail, or they'll have someone kill him, so that we can't get the information to find out who's the Master of Irons.
What was
Unless
the
we
initials?
can...
What were the initials again?
W.A.
Who are the current major lords of Brawl? Ockar should know this, right?
Yeah, I probably would with my local history.
Want to go ahead and roll?
Yeah. I'll use the actual roll thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would know who the current rulers are in Brawl.
Okay, obviously you know Prince Andrew. He has some people around him. You know of Lord Diadan Kartan. You know of the proconsul Gaderick Main. Mahaksara Kal. Martin Ram. Tiendor Alian. You know that the person in charge of the Brawlian military is General Darebad. On the Noble Council, you know Eric Kozar, Hastane, Basa Lianen, Kiade Elodan, Morgan Kulik, and of course Arkan Nobraduk, who hired you. Isandra Kalanda. You know of Tario Mosantos. You know of the Council of Captains, there's Valkan Ryogan, Niese Hernok, Vaskar Ironfest, Terilia Moan, Talosa Baniasar, Dargaz, Ozamata Ku Murawa, Karishi Otobe. Let's see.
So a lot of names this one person knows.
Can you PM me
We're
the
looking
stuff
for
later?
We're looking for
I can tell you that of these names that you know of, none of them have the initials WA.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But can you still PM me them later?
You can actually look in the Rock and Brawl book for those.
Oh,
names.
okay.
Those aren't names that I made up.
WA is not on that list though.
Yeah.
Which is
I'll say-
unfortunate.
Of all the officials I know of in Brawl, none of them have the initials WA.
Which means it's not the initials are fake as well. If there's somebody in power, which, if I remember correctly, the dwarf said he thinks it's one of his enemies on the Council of Nobles who did this.
I don't believe I specifically said the Council of Nobles.
Oh, well, you said one of his enemies.
It's competitors, wasn't it?
A lot of enemies. He can have a lot of enemies outside of...
Yeah, noblemen tend to have a lot of enemies, even though not even in politics.
I think there's two choices. It's either someone that doesn't like dwarves, or it's another dwarf that wants to usurp him.
No, they give Lafdul something to work with. His initials WA. I can do research.
And the title as well. Yeah. Right. Because I think we know that I don't know if Lafdul said that but I think we got the idea that he has underworld contacts.
I just know people as far as you know.
Yeah, he just seems to know people, and we just kind of accepted that.
Maybe the pragmatic order of thought will know something about the Master Vines.
It couldn't hurt to ask.
Well,
All right. So, do we have anything else before we get back to Brawl?
Should we ask him whether or not he's just straight up ask him? Is he in any way, shape, or form willing to collaborate for some form of scapegoat? Whatever that scapegoat be.
a lesser sentence and such.
Yeah, just see if he's even willing.
I don't think he's willing to speak with us at the moment.
Underline it by telling him that, I mean, if we let it known that he talked to us, no matter whether he did or didn't, then he's going to be in much greater danger than if we just shut up or let him go.
Yeah, that's true. Especially since Brawl was founded by pirates and all. It's not really the safest place.
No, it's
Well,
not.
there's nothing to say that he can't be smuggled out of Brawl space.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we want to offer that. I think we just offer him like a lesser sentence or protection from who he's going to rat out.
Oh, that would be the authorities that would offer that stuff, not us.
Yeah, but would they really offer him a deal, or would they just offer him, you have the choice between being ejected from Brawl or being put to death by hanging, something like that?
The only
that's
deal
up to
we
him.
can offer him is to give him Ekis' ship.
Which I don't think Ekis would even agree to.
Yeah.
We could offer to let him go.
Or we're not going to
Uh,
offer
any-
that to him.
We're not going to
Anything.
offer that.
Well, if we're considering offering him a ship, then letting him go is already a big step forward. I mean, there's a difference between going to jail and being probably killed if we let people know that he talked to us, or being able to go out and use his contacts to maybe get a ship.
Well, the only two places he's going to possibly go is either the pragmatic order of thought or the authorities.
I think we
Either
should take
one.
him to the pragmatic order of thought, since he is a slaver.
Hear me out, or to the person who hired us initially.
That
Yeah,
may
maybe.
not be the best idea, because I can imagine that he would put that, because we're supposed to keep this on the down low.
Well, no, that's why we give them
Just-
to him.
No, he'd just kill him.
He'd just
No,
kill
not
him.
necessarily, because
He probably would, considering all of this and how he wants to keep things quiet. He might just get rid of him.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Okay,
Disappear him.
He wants information of why
damn it.
he was targeted.
Yeah, what's your question?
All right, so what I want to know is when we were talking to him, we weren't supposed to keep it on the download once we got back. It was only supposed to be on the way out, correct?
Yes.
Okay, only on the way out, people. Not keep this under wraps the whole time. We're not supposed to be secretive about this the whole time. It's just on the way out so that people wouldn't know that we were going
Okay.
out to save them. All right? It's not a secret mission altogether. It was just we didn't want people to know that we're leaving to do this.
Damn,
Oh,
you spoiled my
was it-
fun.
That's fine. That's fun.
Didn't it- Sorry. didn't have something to do with the fact that it could have gone bad for Ekes if we had let it known that we were on the way to free him?
Yeah, but now we have Eka, so
Yeah. So there's no real need to stay silent about it.
yeah, we can be open about it now.
Mhm.
Here's the thing: if we give this prisoner to the guy, he has lots of money. He could probably afford like an expert interrogator to get the information he wants out of him. Because we were hired to get him extra info. We were given promised a bonus if we could get some extra information.
If
And we
I
got
was this
some.
guy, I would kill him because he just was involved in kidnapping my son with the purpose to sell him to slavers. So no, I would not let him live. He would have essentially killed my son. So
Lafdul, go ahead and ask that question out loud so you guys can discuss that.
Well, the question was kind of like, we don't need to bring him into Brawl. The question
true.
is whether or not we want to kill him, or could we? Is the information he has more important than his life?
he has to decide that himself. We have to give him the choice if we even considering that. But Higgimus already said that he only considers the order of what was it? Or authorities. Yeah.
Here's the thing. The only reason we're trying to get more information out of him, really, is one, we get it helping wing out the slavery ring on Brawl, because apparently there is one. And we're good people, so we're helping out in that respect. And two, we were promised extra money for more information on the guy who was responsible for this. Right?
I was
as Lafdul's idea there, as I just read it, the job would be already done and we wouldn't be getting extra money for it. It would only be doing it for the goodwill.
Well, I was just
the good
thinking
borders.
if we offer him a new life, so to speak, he obviously has to give up his old life because he's a known face now.
Not necessarily if we don't.
Well,
If none
No,
nobody else sees him.
Higgimus would not do that. No, he's not going to let this guy go.
Okay, but I think
I won't.
I think there is.
yeah, I was trying to find what kind of party we were, so.
Well, keep in mind you do also have a paladin.
Yeah. What I was thinking of is we give him to the person who hired us.
I want to give him either to the pragmatic or the authorities as a paladin here.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree.
Well, I mean, Yeldan brings up a good point. You could let Noberduk make the decision.
Yeah, what we can do is we can keep him on our ship, and we can go see Noberduk
Private audience or something.
and see whether maybe he wants to come on our ship while the prisoners have hoods on their heads, so they don't know who he is, and we could ask questions in front of him.
He doesn't. He won't answer though. That's the thing. Unless we can get a charmed person to work. We're not getting any more information out of it.
Okay, actually, here we go, guys. We'll keep him prisoner here on the ship. We'll let what's the guy's name again?
Noberduk.
Noberduk make the decision about what he wants to do with this person, since it's his people that were wronged in this.
It was more than just his people, as I think about all the other races.
He hired us at the end of the day.
Braxon
His call.
Braxon would like to recommend to Noberduk that the cooperative prisoner was passed over to the pragmatic order of thought to see if we can use him to catch more slavers.
Well, to be honest, that he was lower tier than this guy. If this guy was cooperative, he'd be.
Yeah, the low tier guy.
I'm okay with that. To the lower tier people.
Yeah, all those guys can go to the pragmatic.
The other thing Braxton's wondering is when he was working in the shipyards before he met you guys, he worked alongside the Forgemen, which is another guild that work in the ironworks. And he's wondering if the Master of Irons might literally be someone from the ironworks, and he's trying to rack his brain to see if he remembers anyone with the letters AW.
WA. Give me a
WA, sorry.
Give me an intelligence check.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a penalty on this as well.
The penalty is that I have to remember to use Roll20.
Very good roll at that.
Innate, what's your in?
Reasonable roll.
Intelligence is
14.
Braxton's intelligence is 14.
Okay. You do not remember anyone by those initials from there, and that term Master of Irons isn't a title used by anyone publicly in the Ironworks.
Oh no, it wouldn't be.
No,
No, but he's just wondering if.
Oh, I understand. I'm just giving you that extra information. That
Yeah,
It's a known title. So
Yeah,
not
it's
used.
it's not a known title, so you know that for sure.
yeah. I was just joining in with you. No, Braxton's just wondering if the title might suggest that there's someone that works in the ironworks who secretly makes what do you call them, manacles and stuff when people aren't looking.
They probably make mana goals in public for the
Yeah,
freaking guard.
they will do. They'll make them for the guards, prisons.
Yeah, I
All right.
suppose so.
So, does anybody else have anything? Does anybody have anything else? I do actually. Braxton, could you make sure the ship doesn't say that we're a pirate ship on the outside of it?
Oh right.
If there's any pirate colors, get rid of them, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Is there anything old?
Yeah, actually,
Ah,
there's a few little things that it's wise to just remove. You remove the name from the edge of the ship that you guys didn't actually go around and look at. But
Well, what is it? What's the name since he's looking at it?
well,
Oh,
we already
what?
know.
He
Yeah.
told us.
I told you guys earlier, the iron grip. So you chisel that off, and the pirates don't fly a flag per se, but you do remove the colors of the ship that it is flying, and put up just a white flag.
What colours were they flying?
Because this might be important for Lafdul to keep note of.
Higgimus, you have heraldry. Give me a proficiency check.
Well, it should pass.
All right. You recognize it. You think you saw it in a catalog back on Brawl at some point of potential places that would hire and stuff like that. It's a small port out of the grinder in Gray Space. The port is called, oddly enough, Greyport.
I forgot they're not necessarily
Is that where?
They're not necessarily truthful in where they're out of, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is this where the flags originating from?
what ship? Where did the captain's log say the captain was originally from?
Oerth. That's the world of Greyhawk.
We know.
Probably the colors he was flying.
We do know that the cooperative guy we were talking to said he came from an asteroid in Grey Space. So we could ask him if he came from Greyport.
Does it really matter?
Doesn't really matter. I mean,
Yeah.
these could be flags stolen from ships that the pirates attacked.
Yeah.
You
Did
attack a
find
ship and you
stash
keep
of-
its flag, and then you pretend to be someone else to
Yeah.
sidle up someone and then attack them.
All right.
Did
So
we
does
find
anybody have
cash
anything else?
flags on the ship?
No,
Does anybody have anything else?
I'm ready for all to do the wizzy thing he wanted to do an hour and a half ago.
Who the what now?
You was going to do the diddle-it, we're back on Brow.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
well-
Wayne's World.
Well, I mean, I wanted to get do anything that people wanted to get done. So,
Yeah. What done in space, anyways? We've done all that.
okay.
So, yep. Everybody good? We're good, I think.
All right.
Hmm.
So Higgimus, that night, basically the night before you get back to Brawl, you have a dream. The dream is very intense, but it's very short. At least what you can remember of it. All you can remember is a large tree under a starry sky, although from your memory, it seemed like the tree was also underneath something else, like a dome of some sort. The tree was silvery in color, the leaves and bark, which seemed very unusual to you, rather than green. A broad-leafed tree. You don't know enough about trees to recognize a type or anything like that, but that's a dream that you had last night.
Weird.
How
Better
well
not be a
does
god
Higgimus-
thing.
How well does Higgimus remember the tree? Is the real question.
Not well enough to describe to anyone like details of leaf shape or anything
Oh,
like
wait,
that.
that's his favourite, wasn't it? Sorry, I was writing down notes at the same time.
Maybe. You could roll a religion check, Lafdul, probably, because you have elven religion.
Who says I told you?
Yeah, that's up to him
Yeah,
if he tells you.
Yeah, that's if he tells me, but I honestly I wasn't paying too much attention when you were saying that. I was writing down notes.
Okay, so one more time. So it was a large tree underneath a starry sky.
Yeah.
Except underneath a dome too.
It seemed like something like that.
And you said
There was some kind of structure there.
some kind of structure, and what was it about the tree itself that you mentioned?
It had silvery bark and leaves.
Silvery bark and leaves.
Yeah.
What?
I
It
don't
was
have it.
inside a dome. Sorry, I'm writing down notes as he's saying this.
Well, but you
I'm not saying this to characters.
Ah,
I'm asking Ald just to clarify what
Sorry.
I saw. All right, so large tree underneath the starry sky with the dome kind of structure thing nearby or over it.
maybe
you said.
over it. It's hard to
Kind of over it,
tell for sure.
and then its bark and leaves were made out of silver or silvery.
Yeah.
Okay, that was all.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I had it all.
Okay.
Oh, that was bizarre.
Question mark.
Are you going to inform the rest of the party, or are you going to keep that to yourself?
I keep it to myself.
Of course.
Okay. You get back to Brawl nearing evening. As you get back to port, one of the small pilot ships comes out to guide you into the docks. The member
we're
of
not
the
dry docking, right?
Dockmasters Guild comes to greet you and find out what your purpose is, get your name and everything like that.
Tell him Lance Corporal Higgimus, blah 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 rank, with the Giff rank that goes on forever, I'm sure. And here to dock for our extended stay. We're back home.
Oh,
Okay. He asks you if you have anything to declare.
Oh, what's the normal thing for this when he's asking for what do we declare?
Braxon,
Affect it with prisoners.
No, hold on, Ald. I'm asking Ald. What's he normally mean by that?
Well, it's like cargo that you have, goods that you're planning to sell, that kind of thing.
Oh, right. We have to tell the truth on this.
Braxon would have spoken to the Higgimus before we got back.
Yeah, what do we say?
Okay.
Out of character. What do we say in terms of that? We got a bunch of gemstones? So
No, what Higgimus will say is we.
It's more about cargo as opposed to personal possessions that you might end up selling.
okay.
we've got prisoners.
No,
How do we say it?
Okay, so I'll
Braxton-
say. Hold on, let me
Go
say.
on.
I'll say that we have no cargo per se, but we did rescue a bunch of people that were captive underneath slavers.
He scratches his chin and says, all right, I'm gonna need you to hold them on the ship for a short time. Gotta get proper authorities to come talk to them and find out what's going on.
All right.
You might want to-
Could you also
wait.
could also have like a runner sent to what's his name?
No product.
No Burdick.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you.
Wasn't it Ekis on top? Standing beside you, Higgimus?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's with us.
I don't know where he
he'd
is,
be up
but-
there, but they're asking to keep everyone on board. They don't want like a sudden flood
Influx
of
of-
refugees. Essentially, they need to find out who they are, what needs to be done to help them, and that sort of thing.
Do they owe any tax or whatever? Get a pirate base.
I just meant for the...
They're gonna charge you the docking fee.
How much is that?
So you are going to get 2 silver pieces per ton. Now, since you've got 3 ships, that's going to be for each of your ships. So I'll calculate that out. Give me a second.
That comes out of the party loot, right?
No, it's coming out of yours.
I probably could afford it.
Since you volunteered, since you spoke up.
I was just confirming where it was going, where it's coming from. So
Yeah, your pocket.
It's
Can
not
we get-
actually too much.
Can we get the pommel off then and dock it separately?
You'll need repairs. Really.
They will, once you've gotten everything taken care of, fee-wise, then you can do that.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's see. That is going to be... Okay, you are going to be charged 176 silver pieces.
176.
Yeah, that is the air cost.
I think we can afford that.
Water fee is going to be... Let me calculate that. An additional 18 silver pieces for water.
In the air.
The air was 176.
Oh, that's the. I thought that was just the docking fee itself. Or is that included?
I am looking that up.
Just like basic supplies, so
No, that doesn't cover supplies.
what was the water for then?
Well, the water is part of the supplies. That's for people who stay on the ship. They can just get some basic water and stuff like that.
No, that's fine.
Also don't forget what we get from our bag.
Yeah, I'll calculate that out.
Thank you.
Let's see.
You should name that bag of free ship.
It pays our docking fees. It works just as hard as the rest of us.
I tell you what, if the bag earns more money than us, we should give up and buy a tavern.
Okay,
Find
and
ways of replicating the bag.
the basic docking fee, it's I don't actually see it listed, so I'm just going to do 1 silver piece each, so an additional 88 silver pieces. Okay, once you've got that taken care of, an official comes by to interview the refugees, the rescued slaves that you've got. Find out who they are, where they're from, see if anyone has a next of kin on on Brawl or whether they're going to need help getting off Brawl. There's a representative, having heard about this, a representative each from the Pragmatic Order of Thought and the Company of the Chalice. They're basically the kind of ones who take care of the cost of, like if one of the slaves was taken in gray space and that's where their family is, that's where they were going to want to go to, they'll pay for getting them home, kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
So they're there to take a look at that. I assume that you're basically, kind of keeping wraps under everything else for now. The dwarves are, Ekith takes command of the dwarves and says, who he is, and so none of these people are talking to the dwarves. He's kind of got that under control once someone from his house comes. So unless you guys have a problem with it, they're going to take the slaves off and get them taken care of.
I don't have a problem with the slaves. The only contention I would have would be with the slavers, our prisoners that we have.
Yeah, that'll be handled afterwards. That, and I don't think you said that you had prisoners. Did you?
I didn't declare prisoners, no.
While that's all happening, there is there's some commotion on the dock as you see Arkan Noberduk himself and a couple of his guards and stuff like that coming through. As soon as he sees Ekith, he kind of runs up and claps him on the shoulders and says, "My boy, it's good to see you back okay." And Ekith, they kind of talk amongst themselves. After that, Noberduk turns to you and to you, Higgimus, and says, "I see you got him back in fine feather. I do appreciate it."
You're welcome. There is something that I want you to, if you could take a look at with me for a moment.
Yeah, can we go below and discuss what you got?
Yes.
He says, kind of giving a slight side eye to the authorities that are there.
Yep.
All right. The dwarves are basically helping you out, with making sure that all the rest of the slaves are okay. Ekith and Keller come with you, just because Keller was, he's kind of become sort of a
bodyguard.
A captain.
Not. He's just, because he was with you guys for so long and he wasn't actually imprisoned. He was in much better shape, so he kind of naturally took charge of the other dwarves when they were not doing so hot, along with Ekith. So there he comes along as kind of a secondary. So you guys go probably just back to the central chamber beneath the helm. It's kind of an open area. It's a place that you can talk.
And close the doors.
Yeah.
Well, Leva would certainly follow them. There's nothing she can do upstairs.
Is she allowing our party in? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
the
no,
one that
the whole
never
party
originally met.
can come. The whole party can come.
Yeah.
So he's talking to all of you. He looks you over and says, "Looks like you got my son back safe. I thank you for that. What did you learn?"
Well, some of the things we learned is that, well, how do I put this? It was basically just a big group of slavers, but we got some extra items here. We have the logbook talking about the ships. It was mentioning the ships in there, right? Old
Yeah.
that they were attacking. Basically, the targets they were going after. We have documentations for receipts
For selling slaves.
for the slaves that they were selling. What else did we get, people?
So Braxon,
And
Yeah.
and perhaps the leader of the whole slaver operation on the planet.
Braxon interjects and says, the barge batar we're on is called the Iron Grip. It was originally a pirate ship. They had an altercation with the slavers and they signed up with them. The logbook says the name of some ships that they attacked. So if we can find out who owns those ships, we might be able to get some information from them as to where it's been. It
Give me a
was
second.
flying. It was. Higgimus told me it was the flag it was flying was the flag of Greyport, which is in grey space.
Mm.
And the receipts. We had
Didn't we make
for the
copies?
cells.
Yes, we have a few at least 2 copies of those.
And I believe you made copies specifically that were decoded.
Yes.
Okay, so you hand those over to him?
I hand those over to him. I ask him whether he wants a copy of the code. I think we made some coded copies as well. I ask him whether he wants to code it as well.
I'd like the originals, actually, and the code sheet.
What do you think?
Yeah,
People?
It's just fine.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, he's paid
So
for them.
he gets the originals. Do you want to get in that case? Do you want a translation?
Well, yeah, no, he wanted
You
those.
give
He
him a
wanted
code
that as
sheet
well.
that you
You'll
gave.
correlate it, basically.
Yeah. So we give him the information that allows him to actually read the stuff.
Yeah.
Plus
well,
the originals. Okay.
yeah, the originals, the code sheet, and translated copies. I mean,
Should we tell him about the ring?
No.
Ring?
What
No.
ring?
Yeah, what ring?
Or what was it that had what was it, the WA or AW thing on it?
Oh, that's we're
That
not
was
there
a-
yet. Not there
No,
yet.
that's the Master of Iron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's from the interrogation. That's not on the ring as far as I remember.
What
Oh,
was the initials?
Oh, right.
The
W.
initial
A.
W.
for
A.
something else.
All right.
Yeah, we should
Yeldan.
probably should we tell him about that too?
we should
Okay,
tell him
so-
about the Master of
Yeah.
Iron.
Okay, so we did capture the leader of the slaver group alive. We have him down below here.
His eyebrows rise at that. Oh.
Now, we weren't able to get him to talk to us directly, but through our wizard friend here, we were able to glance at his surface thoughts when we were asking him questions. One, we know that he was doing some work for a person referred to as the Master of Irons, with initials of WA, and that he was specifically sent to target Ekith here, but we don't know if it was necessarily this Master of Irons that was sent him to target Ekith.
I do remember a few years ago there was someone went by that title who was executed. I think they
Yeah.
It's
may
somebody
have
here on
been,
Brawl, I believe.
I think they may have been part of an organized group. I'll have to look into that. I do thank you for this information. This will be very helpful in figuring out who is behind everything.
I think if you want to get more information out of him, you could probably take the leader guy.
What do you want to do with this? What do you want us to do with this leader? I figured that we should leave it up to you, your decision. If given to the authorities, pragmatic or a thought, or what?
Well, the authorities are definitely going to want to execute him. Make a point. I will work with them, see if they can. They'll let me do my own interrogation, see if I can get any more information out of them. I know some people who may be able to help in that regard.
Okay. So it'd be perfectly fine for us to turn to authorities.
Yeah, I'll talk to them. I have some pull.
Okay.
Okay.
But Braxon says to him, there was one of the minions that we caught who was actually quite helpful to us. He gave us after we captured him, he gave us some information that helped us attack the others and free your son. And I was wondering if you could put in a word for him so that he gets a more lenient sentence.
I mean,
Cooperative.
I suppose they might want to just put him on the underside in that case. I'll talk to him about that.
Or give him to the pragmatic or thought,
Yeah.
so that he might be able to help them rescue more slaves on other places.
Yeah, we can. I'll definitely discuss that with the authorities.
Thank you.
Well, if you don't mind, I'll be taking my son and the rest of his companions with us.
Yeah.
I will definitely have someone come by with your payment, and I will have one of my men come with the authorities to pick up the prisoners that you got.
I hope we will have a chance to do some more work with you again, sir.
The only thing you might want to have a think about and speak to your son about is the barrel data. I've done some provisional bodged repairs, but it's in quite a bad way. I can pass on my report to the Shipwrights Guild, so I don't know whether you would rather whether you'd rather it was repaired or scrapped.
And the original helm was destroyed with it, so we kind of used our backup helm, which will be back.
Obviously we'll get our helm back.
Noberduk turns to his son and says, "Well," Ekith responds, "I think it's not but scrap at this point."
Yeah, I was just wondering if it had some sentimental value to your family, because occasionally some things,
Nah, I think we bought it used a couple of years back.
Okay.
You
So-
go ahead
Like a
and
nameplate?
scrap it. It's fine. Don't need it.
Ask him if he wants a nameplate or something. Like the
Nah.
barrel data, a big sign.
It's just a
Keep it,
ship.
Something. Oh. Okay.
Probably doesn't care. From the sounds of
You're
it.
definitely
wasn't
getting the
special.
impression that he
Just
doesn't
give
really
us-
care that much about the ship.
Ungrateful, spoilt, rich son stereotype. Lafdul mentions to himself.
It's one of the cheapest ships that you can buy.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the helm is destroyed makes it essentially worthless.
I'll
Yeah.
say, sir, your son is quite a fighter.
I'm pretty proud of him myself. He slaps his son on the shoulder pretty hard. Doesn't seem to phase Ekith at all, though.
He
Who's
put up
giving a big grin.
he put up a great fight against an Upper Hulk.
I'm sure that'll make some fine stories for the ladies down in the taverns, right? Right, son? And unless there's anything else that you want to tell them or ask them, they will go ahead and depart.
I
That's
don't
it.
think there is.
Okay. All right.
Are we finalizing our contract, so to speak? Are we allowed to, is there any bonus points for finding out information, so to speak? I don't know how else to word that.
I'm sure
You'll-
that we'll
You'll be
find out
getting
when we
the
get up.
you'll get the payment. I mean, if you have an issue with that,
All
you
right,
can
so
go-
this contract's finalized then.
Yeah.
All right.
Now we
as
gotta
I'm concerned.
decide what we're gonna do with the barge, and I know we're scrapping the barrel darter.
Yeah, he basically said, yeah, you can scrap it for money. He just gave us the barrel darter, basically.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys want to just kind of take it easy for a couple days as you wrap everything up and get paid and start working on your plans for getting a new ship and everything?
Well,
Yeah.
Higgimus has got to do captainy things, and then he feels like he owes a couple people things.
Okay.
So he's got to do that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and Braxon would
Lafdul would want
to
to take Baloriana to our Elven Temple in the Elven District.
Okay.
Yeah.
He would ask Higgimus to come along.
Yeah, Higgimus will care.
Braxon would help with that.
Yeah, if anyone wants to come
Ockar
along,
would help.
That was actually one of the things I was thinking about when I said I had captainy things to do.
Okay. Then we'll do that after the break. The break's coming up.
Mhm.
In that case, what I am going to do is I'm going to give you the XP for the finishing up the adventure entirely. So everyone gets 1,000 experience points for that.
That was easy.
Well, I mean,
Easiest
this is
round number.
well, this isn't for the fights. This is for
Yeah. I
finishing up
understand.
everything.
It's just because it was just a flat 1,000.
Yeah, it's almost always going to be a flat number, and unless you wrap up in an adventure entirely after a fight, in which case I'm including the battle experience. You're just getting the flat, quote unquote story award.
I should be able to level up after the end of the next adventure.
I'm close to leveling my
Let's go to
priest.
the next one.
Okay,
I'm
so
now 2,000 XP away from leveling.
all right, let me double check to see because I think there may have been someone who were killed. Actually, no, none of the dwarves were killed, so you were getting a full payout for that.
Oh, I didn't realize there's bonuses for getting people alive, all the people alive.
So, it basically is going to be the next day because it was fairly late in the day when you
Yeldan
got
would have
back
saved
to
his
port.
business that he has.
Is it bonus
the
XP
next
or
day.
bonus cash for getting them all alive?
It's bonus cash.
Yeah.
He's calculating cash for how much money we're getting, and he
Okay.
did say tomorrow the payment would come tomorrow, too.
All right, so you get. Helps if I clear out what's in the calculator first. All right, so the next day, a party of dwarves comes with a kind of a cart type thing. It's not actually drawn by horses. A few dwarves are pulling it, kind of like a hand cart kind of thing. And on it is a large strong box, which is double locked. They hand you the keys, and one of them slaps the top and says, "This is for your service to House Nobrook. Greatly appreciate getting Eketh back, and here's the receipt." He hands you a sheet of paper that describes what's in the containers. What's in the container, and it is 23,300 gold pieces.
Oh my god!
Well, we were
Nice.
promised 20. The base price for just getting Eketh was 20,000. So
Braxon says to the dwarves, "It was a pleasure doing business with you folks, and not for the first time."
Business.
We will be happy to help out House Nobrook anytime.
and it wasn't. We didn't help. It was that was just a bunch of stonemates we helped.
I think people need to work on their.
Closing statements.
Appreciate it, and give my thanks to Lord Nobrook.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure also that this is around the same time the authorities with his representative come pick up the prisoners and such.
Yeah, they do that. Actually, they did that like a couple hours after Nobrook left. They wanted to get that taken care of pretty quick. I should have mentioned it, but I didn't.
fair.
Sorry.
That's
So
fair.
yep, there you go. You got that cash. I think we should probably take our break a little bit early, come back, and then you guys can do what you want with the captainy stuff, Baloriana.
And splitting up money.
Yeah, you can do some
I'll
calculation
probably
for that.
don't post.
You are probably also going to want to prepare to get identifying on magic items.
We have
And-
so
Oh
much
yeah,
money.
I forgot that name. I forgot to write down that name. What was the name of the sword? that you
Blade
told?
of Borodan. Borodan.
Is that a longsword?
Or
Yes.
yeah, it's the long
Yeah,
sword.
it is longsword.
Okay, I got BR.
Borodan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of the things is I'm gonna do some research because it has a name. So like, okay, sure. Or Leva can do research on it.
I think I'd like to get my longsword fully identified by somebody while I'm in Brawl, since I never really figured out everything it can do.
Okay. Well, we can discuss that when we get back from the break. But just be ready to start going through that stuff. Okay.
Mhm.
So we will be back in about 10, 15 minutes or so, so about 10 past, perhaps. And I'll see you guys shortly.
I had